Assalamu alaikum. I'm Maheen, and today me and my group members Aliza, Fiza, and Laba are going to present demographic changes. Our issue would be overpopulation.
Demography. What is demography? What does this term mean? So basically, demography is the statistical study of human populations. It encompasses the study of size, structure, and distribution of these populations and spatial or temporal changes in them in response to time, birth, migration, aging, and death. Birth and death rates are the most important determinants of population growth. In some countries, net migration is also important in this regard. Demographer is the type of geographer who collects and analyzes information about human population. For example, birth rates, death rates, literacy rates, and population growth to calculate population growth rates.
Now, what is overpopulation? Human overpopulation is an intolerable condition where the number of people in a group exceeds the carrying capacity of the place occupied by that group. Never before in history there have been so many people on earth as right now. Our numbers have skyrocketed from 1 billion in 1800 to 2.3 billion in 1940, 3.7 billion in 1970, and 7.4 billion in 2016. It's likely that would be a billion more by 2030. Still, over 4 babies are born each second. That's around 390,000 new humans a day. Population growth varies from continent to continent. The fastest population rises are in Africa and Asia, which would have 8 of the 10 most populous countries by 2050. India is set to overtake China as the country with the largest population. Nigeria has one of the fastest growing population in the world. It's set to become world's third most populous country. Effects of overpopulation locally.
When we use the term overpopulation, we specifically mean a situation in which the earth cannot regenerate the resources used by the world's population each year. It is only logical that an increase in the world's population will cause additional strains on resources including food, water, healthcare, energy, and more, especially on cities in developing countries like Pakistan. About 60% of Pakistanis already live with food insecurity. If the population continues to increase, families would resort to using agricultural lands for settlement as urban cities have become crowded and unaffordable. This will decrease agricultural production, making resources for people even more scarce and expensive. With increase of food and water insecurity comes the increase of malnutrition and stunting among people, which people would most likely not be able to treat for. The water supply is also becoming scarce due to the huge imbalance between demand and supply in Pakistan's cities. People living in impoverished areas are now more likely to experience ill health and diseases caused by diet deficiency such as rickets. The increased population demands more health services and facilities, which is extremely hard to obtain, as 2% of Pakistan's GDP is allocated for total health expenditures. People are also suffering badly from energy shortages, especially in urbanized areas, which require adequate energy supplies.
Effects of overpopulation globally.
An increase in population will inevitably create pressures leading to more deforestation, decreased biodiversity, and spikes in pollutions and emissions, which will exacerbate climate change. Ultimately, unless we take action to help minimize further population growth, heading into the remainder of this century, many scientists believe the additional stress on the planet will lead to ecological disruption and collapses where it threatens the viability of life on Earth.
Effects of overpopulation nationally.
When a country becomes overpopulated, it gives rise to unemployment as there are fewer jobs to support a large number of people. The rise in unemployment gives rise to crimes such as theft, as people want to feed their families and provide them basic amenities of life. There are more people than job opportunities, which contributes immensely to homelessness, debt, financial hardships, poverty, and housing stress.
Solutions.
One of the most obvious ways to decrease population is for people to have fewer children. Education typically needs people to have fewer children. Around 130 million girls and young women around the globe currently do not have access to education. Many are kept at home to work and are at risk of exploitation. Empowering women and girls so that they can choose what happens in their future is one of the most effective ways. It's also important to consider the role of society and government in these matters. Some policies help provide access to education or family planning services. Showing people that they need to waste less will help to protect the limited resources that we do still have. To conclude, overpopulation is a serious threat to our whole environmental system. It is likely to cause severe conflicts and wars as people will fight for resources in order to meet their daily energy demand. It is therefore crucial that we solve this issue through suitable and sustainable measures. Only then it will be possible for humanity to live in peace in the future.
At last, thank you very much.